Greetings. You have found your way to Z Show. That's right. Right here. You made it. Settle in. There's nowhere else to be. Well, you could be other places, certainly, but would you want to be? It's just a question. Because that's what I do. I ask questions. My name is Zetetic. And for those of you out there who were wondering, what does that mean, Zetetic? Well, simply put, it means to ask questions. Technically, it means to proceed by inquiry. It's a real word. It's a real word. I didn't make it up. It's in the dictionary and everything. So welcome. You're here. Settle in. This is Z Show. And I am your forever grateful host, Z. How are we? How are you? Well, I'm quite well. Thank you for asking. I know you were asking. Greetings. It's evening where I am here in the place they used to call the United States of America. Now it's just called the U.S., which is weird. That little switch may seem innocuous to some, but turns out it's a pretty big deal. When I grew up, they told me I lived in a constitutional republic, one in which there was independent states that had some degree of sovereignty. Well, upon scrutiny, that doesn't quite seem to shake out. More appropriately, we are now the U.S., the United States, branded, corporatized, and interestingly enough, all of you out there, the ones here in America land, you're basically fully owned subsidiaries of this U.S. corporation. Congratulations. Welcome to the team. Please make sure you report to the nurse's office for your mandatory inoculations. Line right up, everybody. Don't worry. It's fine. Don't forget to read the fine print. It's all in the fine print. Did you sign it? I didn't sign anything. Apparently my parents did. They signed like a birth certificate. And then I got a social security card. And now I'm like corporatized. Maybe you could have waited a little bit. Maybe asked me when I got a certain age. Oh, that's right. I remember when I was 18, they made me march down to the post office and sign up for selective service. Who else had to do that? Maybe that was my chance. Oops, I missed it. Maybe I should have never went down there. But either way, it's not the worst corporation ever. There's privileges. There's benefits. Who needs rights and freedoms? That's kind of passé now. You have privileges and benefits. You should be happy and grateful. Personally, I thank you, U.S. corporation. I thank you, Joe Biden, Mama Kamala, and really every president that ever existed. President. like a corporation. CEO. It's weird how they have the same names. President of a corporation is also the president of a so-called sovereign country. So I thank all you presidents. And apparently you are all related to each other. All except one. Back to the King of England, who signed the Magna Carta. Isn't it weird that every single president except one were all related to the same guy who happened to be a king of England and was also involved with the Magna Carta? That is so strange. Boy, talk about coincidence. They should all have played the lottery. But either way, welcome. Whether you live under a corporation or under some other weird structure, welcome. We are all here for another day. And for that, I'm thankful. It's a time for new beginnings. It's always a time for new beginnings. You just need to realize it. Every moment is technically a new beginning. It comes and goes. That's the weird part about time. You can't hold on to it. It's elusive. Like many things in this material reality, this three-dimensional realm, length, width, and depth, X, Y, and Z. The x-axis, the y-axis, and the z one. Basically, vertices stemming from a central point. Right angles, planar. Turns out we live in a planar world. Straight, level, parallel, perpendicular. It's weird. Maybe that's why they love the cube so much. The cube kind of represents this world of the material. But heck, what do I know? But much love. Let's embrace these new beginnings as we courageously face the future that awaits us all. Who knows what it's going to bring? I don't know. I'm not going to tell you that World War III is around the corner. I'm not going to do that. Everybody else is doing that. You can go to like their channels. They'll scare you up real good. We're not going to do that here. The world's tough enough. Why should we make it any tougher? Why should we be our own worst enemy? No need for that. That's crazy. It's cuckoo. That's what they want. They basically want you to eliminate yourself. Why do the job for them? Hey, listen, controllers, if you're there, are you there? I'm not going to make it easy for you. If you want to take me out, you're going to have to do it yourself. You're going to have to get your hands dirty. I'm not going to do it myself. I'm sorry. I've seen too many go down that route in so many ways. Drugs, alcohol, which is basically just like a slow deletion. Sorry, not this guy. But anyway, greetings. Who's here? Let's see. Don't judge me, says Z. Any comments on the debris from the space station that fell on someone's house in Naples, Florida? Wow. There's a lot there. I'll just say, as of now, Zetetic Warrior does not have any comments. I've not investigated this matter. But wow, that's something. So debris came off the space station, but the space station's still up there, like it didn't damage it. How did that happen? I thought it's like in an emptiness of near perfect vacuum of space. Did something hit it and it's still there? I mean, they tell me it's traveling roughly 17,000 miles an hour, give or take. That's pretty fast. I'd imagine even like a small little like speck of dust in space would probably obliterate the whole thing. It would destroy it. So the fact that debris came off the space station moving 17,000 miles an hour and it's still up there, and all the astronauts, cosmonauts are just fine. Well, that's kind of amazing. That's kind of amazing. And they're all still fine. But who knows? Maybe it was that Chinese space station that's up there. Maybe there's just a little bit more disposable. They could sacrifice a few parts off of their space station. We know how the Chinese make things. They're very efficient, but the quality is not quite there on most of their items and materials. It's a little bit more flimsy. A little bit more flimsy. the Chinese, the Chinese space station. So there's an international space station. Then there's the Chinese one. Who else is going to be next? We need to get other people up there. Look, India's already been to the moon. Good job, India. And Japan and China and Russia and the US, of course. And like one other nation I'm forgetting. So the moon's getting kind of crowded. But there's only 2 space stations, thankfully. But there's room for more. Elon Musk needs to put one up there. I think Elon should live up there. That's what I'm calling for. Elon needs to build a palatial palace in the sky. There was a guy in the Bible that was going to do that. I think his name started with an L. Something like Lou. People call him Lou. Last name Cypher. Yeah. He was going to, usurp the creator and take over the throne room of the Almighty in the heavens. It seems like Elon's on the same trajectory. He might as well just get to it. Post haste, Elon. Where's your mansion in the sky? And the question is, would you go? Invite Z. Bring Z up to the Elon Musk Luciferian palace in the heavens. I'll give you a hint, Elon. There's a little thing called the North Star. Just go outside, look at it. Some people think it's the throne room of the Almighty. I don't know. It's not hard to find. It doesn't move. It just does like little wiggles. So it should be pretty easy for you, Elon, even with your intelligence level, which doesn't seem very high. And then you could just head there, right to the North Star, towards there, and build your little palace. And I'll hang out up there with you. We'll laugh at the International Space Station and that flimsy Chinese space station from the Elon Palace. Come on, who's with me? All right, good. So Harmon's giving me updates on the Florida space station thing. He says, Z, the 1.6-pound piece of debris tore through the roof of and 2 floors of a house in Naples. A cargo pallet full of aging batteries was released from the space station. Gotcha. Thank you. Weird. You know what's funny? It didn't burn up on entry. Isn't that stuff supposed to burn up? They told me that again, that Elon Musk Starship that he's got up there, that SpaceX Starship that apparently they're trying to bring people to the moon and back with. Well, apparently they can get it up into low Earth orbit, but they can't quite get it back on Earth. And they keep telling me it just materializes and vaporizes in the atmosphere. Apparently the batteries were just fine, though. Look, don't judge me. Had the same question. She's a thinking lady. What else did Harmon have to say? He said, Z, today I feel like a BB being thrown against a steel wall. I'm looking forward to you and FE Nation talking today. Well, that's if he wants to come up. I invited him. I've never really had a conversation with him, but maybe we'll see our friend FE Nation. That'd be nice. Harmon's looking forward to it. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the space station. I think we should have more of them. They need to get with it. It's weird how like China made their own rogue space station. Like they weren't invited to the party. Weird. Why is China always left out? The Russians are allowed up there. I mean, come on. Not China. Apparently, I read the other day that the U.S. Artemis mission to the moon will have the first non-American to walk on the moon. Apparently, I think it's a Japanese fellow, but don't quote me on that. So we're going to let other people up there, which is nice. Inclusivity and diversity. We need that. I'm pretty sure they're going to have a lady on the moon. I don't know. Would you want to really travel to the moon with a lady? I mean, I've had girlfriends, even had a wife once. Like a 5-hour car trip to like the Poconos in Pennsylvania was like hell. Do you ever get trapped in a car with a chick in a car on a long ride and she's just like not quite in the right mood? Come on, fellas. You know what I'm talking about. You guys can relate. It's not great. But at least if you're in the car, you could like stop at a rest stop. Worst case scenario, you can like pull over on the side of the road and just have her get out. Call her an Uber. You can't do that like on the way to the moon. You're stuck with the broad. That's not pleasant for me. I always need an escape plan when it comes to ladies. Always. And young men, take it from me. You should follow this advice. You always need like an escape plan. You never know. They could turn on a dime. Mr. One to One says that's what the airlocks are for. I would compromise the whole mission. Like, say I'm up in space, like with some of these ladies that we see here on the Z show. I'm not going to point anybody out specifically, but I could just imagine if things got a little testy in the spacecraft, it, it might not be the most pleasant thing. I'm just saying. Thomas Morgan just says Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson. What's that reference to? Tony Romo and Jessica Simpson? Are they like an item now? Did I miss that celebrity news update? I guess I was too focused on that Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Are they still together? The clock's ticking on them. Z had the over-under on their relationship at 5 months, so we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Tony Romo, the quarterback for the Cowboys. I guarantee you at least 7 people in my audience are going to tell me Jessica Simpson is a dude. Anyway, much love, everybody. Good vibes, positive intent, good regard, all around. Mr. Smith W's here. I can't focus on Smith too long, but if I don't focus on him, then he starts to misbehave, tantrum somewhat. That's a commonality here on Z Show. My longtime listeners know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just about you, Smith. There's a lot of like men that come here that behave in certain ways, and actually Smith is not even amongst like the worst tier of those people. I'm not going to name names. I'll just put it like this, and I'm not including Smith in this. Male jealousy is a real thing. And it's not good. It's not a good look, guys. And you know, if I'm talking to you and you're hearing this right now, you know it's not a good look. Get a hold of yourselves. Stop it. All right, so apparently Smith is trying to communicate with me. I don't know what you mean about 2 minutes, Mr. Smith. I don't get it. Smith, why don't you get up here and have a debate with Harmon? I'm going to watch that go down. Harmon does not have any time for these Christian religious zealots. And you appear to be exactly one of those, Smith. So we need to make that happen soon. Harmon and Smith. I haven't seen that combination yet. Dr. Eval says, Z has been nothing but cordial with me. Well, that's the thing, Dr. Evals. I'm cordial with everybody. I give everybody the respect that we all deserve as beautiful snowflakes under the banner of heaven. We are all unique. We are all amongst God's children. I treat and the people who know me, they know that. They understand that. Anyway, much love. Let's rein this in a bit. How about we get the show started? What do you say, guys? Let's get the ship off the ground. Let's do it. First things first. Howdy. There we are. Are we ready? I think we are. Are you ready? Well, if not, too bad. Because we're about to begin. Official opening right now. Good evening, everybody. Greetings and salutations. You have found your way to Z Show. That's right, folks. It is the end of the rainbow, the bottom of the rabbit hole. And as always, we are broadcasting live and in living color around the level horizontal topographical plane that we call Earth. Strap on in. It's sure to be a wild ride. As always, who knows what the night's going to bring us? You never know. You never know. We're going to talk to some new people, maybe some old friends. And we know, here in Z Show, a stranger is only a friend you have not met yet. So climb aboard, everybody. Smoke them if you got them. You found your way to the one place on YouTube where we let our minds explore and there are no boundaries except those that you set for yourself. Who's here, everybody? One lovely stationary pizza coming at you. Capricorni, much love. The Divine Spark, 313, Heidi herself. The lovely Sarah Breslin. Sarah says, Z, you're going to the moon with Jack Snafu, Flow State, and yourself. That is quite a group there, Sarah. Emilios Man coming at you that way. Good to see you. Mr. Dr. Evels, good to see you. Good, sir. Again, Mr. Smith W., as always, pleasure. Thriceborn, good to see you. Somewhere in time, as always, lovely lady, Mr. Thomas Morgan. Who else? Rolled by Saturn, coming at you. Mr. One coming at us from Southie London. Who knows what he's up to tonight? You never know. The lovely Don't Judge Me. Coming at us from the FLA. Mr. Harmon Walker. Better said hi to you. Mark, the Arc Spark. Somebody talking about an Amish space station. Mr. Joe Moore, shalom, shalom, shalom. The incomparable John Thomas is here. He said, if aluminum can rip through steel at high enough speeds, I don't see why. Much love, John Thomas. I hope you are well, good sir, and so many more lovely, beautiful people. As always, guys and dolls, thank you for spending your precious time here on Z Show and finding value in the things that we offer here on this YouTube platform. And eventually, hopefully sometime soon, we will be expanding our content beyond YouTube and into other domains of social media. We don't want to limit ourselves. That's not good. Growth is the only trajectory here on Z Show. We need to move forward into a brave new day. And I am certainly endeavoring towards that course. And hopefully you all will join me on the ride. All right, guys. More Z Show in a few moments. I have some great things for tonight. But in the meantime, please enjoy the lovely stylings of our great friend, Mr. Nathan Sanders. Nathan, take it away. Don't go anywhere, everybody.
Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Shall I stay? Would it be a sin if I can help falling in love with you? Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. Like a river flows surely to the sea, darling, so it goes. Some things are meant to be. Take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with you. For I can't help falling in love with you. Thank you, Sister Golden Hair, for duetting with me on that beautiful Elvis song.
Thank you, good sir. And thank you, Sister Golden Hair. Much love. Good stuff all around, everybody. Maybe we'll eventually get Mr. Nathan back on the show. You never know with Nathan. He's rather enigmatic, so to speak. He's hard to pin down. He's sort of a lone wolf. He does his own thing. But much love. The world is a better place for Mr. Nathan. He was on Z Show. If you go through my videos, you can find my interview with one Mr. Nathan Sanders. It's in my playlist, Z's Truther Studio. And you'll find him. And you can find all about Nathan. Boy, he is a cool cat. He's another one of these guys. He's lived a very diverse life. Like many of the people you find around these sort of circles. Unique, timeless, all those things. We have a diverse crowd around here. That's what it's all about. As long as you keep it positive, above board. We'll eliminate all the negative ones one by one. They make their desperate attempts, their Hail Marys to try to inflict harm. But eventually, they dissolve. They go by the wayside. Because in reality, they can't hack it. But much love. And for anybody who wants to check out some of my curated and cataloged prior content, just go to my videos. I have a number of playlists. As mentioned, I have my Z's Truther Studio, where you can see multiple selections of various interviews, or should I say, people that I've interviewed here on Z Show. You can see my playlist entitled Z in the Metaverse, where I highlight my most memorable appearances from other shows where I was basically a guest. Of course, there's the Z Files Flat Earth series. That one kind of speaks for itself. And then my general Z Files. And others. So, we keep it a buck here on Z Show. I keep these videos because you never know. You never know who's going to stumble to the channel. And they're going to say, I kind of like this. And then they can go through and explore some of the prior content. They can peruse through the material that evidences our journey here. Our journey here on YouTube. All right, let's get into some stuff. Yeah, let me pull this first segment up. This one's quite interesting. The title gives it away. This video is called Bug Burgers. And I thought this was interesting to highlight. Because as many of us know, one of the refrains of this NWO, WEF / ubiquitous, tyrannical, dysfunctional New World Order is, well, you may have to eat bugs at some point in the future. That's right. But interestingly enough, I'm not like 100% against like eating bugs. I don't think people should be forced to eat bugs. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think like we should get rid of like cows and pigs and chickens and force everybody to consume bug larvae as their main protein source. But I'm not against it. I've actually eaten bugs. That's right, me, yours truly. I've eaten crickets. I've had cricket flour. And guess what? It wasn't that bad. It wasn't horrible. It was actually like kind of good. So let's get into this video. It's going to present how certain bugs, certain bug larvae can be used as sort of a mass-produced alternative protein source. It's kind of weird. But my inclination is that I would do it. I'd eat the bugs. Look, our friend right here, Mr. Sean Osborne, random fan himself. He has a worm farm. He's eaten the worms. We've conversed about this. He said they're not bad. And they could be basically eaten and consumed in multiple forms. So this isn't new to me. It's not new to Sean. But it's kind of scary to some people. There's a trope. Eat the bugs. Mr. Klaus Schwab. We've all heard that. Many of us. Well, if you want to eat bugs, go ahead and eat bugs. Just make it pleasurable. I'm not against it. Okay, let's compare like eating the bugs to slaughtering a full-grown cow. I used to work in a steakhouse when I was a young lad. It was actually the best job I ever had. And I was just a dishwasher, like I was a kid, which was cool because they fed me. I bet you didn't know that. Anybody out there, if you're looking for some easy employment with some good fringe benefits, not only is there like a bunch of hot waitresses running around, most of them broken, daddy issues, drug habits, easy sexually, so to speak. But besides that, when you work in a restaurant and you're a dishwasher, they feed you. And I'm kind of digressing here, but I remember when I worked in a steakhouse, people would order their steaks like rare, medium rare, which is basically like right out of the fridge, warmed up. I guess here's my point. If people are just basically slaughtering cows and almost consuming the flesh raw, if people are committing mass genocide on chickens and pigs, well, is it so crazy to think that some people would eat bugs? I just think differently. Like I said, I don't fear porn people. I don't see people eating bugs and think that the NWO is going to be shoving bugs down my face. I actually go, okay, that's not a bad idea. All right, let's get to this.
At first glance, it looks like a normal hamburger, but it's not just any old burger, because half of the meat patty consists of ground up insect larvae. Student Vera Buckelman tried out the Bucks Burger.
The Bucks Burger, ground up insect larvae. It looks like they're drinking beer with it. Here's a question. I wonder what a good beer would be to pair with the bug larvae burger. Maybe Sean Osborne, random fan, knows because he has the worm farm. What do you think, Sean? What kind of beer would go best with the bug burger? I'm thinking like a summer wheat ale, maybe with like a little bit of lemon squeezed in it. I don't know. That's just where my mind goes. Like I don't think like a heavy IPA. I'm thinking more like an ale. I don't know.
Try, but it has nice flavor, and I think I would recommend it to my friends. Yeah.
The main ingredient in Vera's Bucks Burger is ground lesser mealworms, the larvae of the darkling beetle.
Mealworms, the larvae of the dark-winged beetle. Look at those things squirming around in the hand there.
Production of the insect burgers begins here in the Dutch town of Ermelo. The manufacturers have been breeding insects here for about 40 years, mainly as animal feed and for the cosmetics industry. But recently, they've been producing more and more larvae for human consumption.
So animal feed. Well, here's the thing. If the animals eat the larvae and then we eat the animals, why not just cut out the middleman? What do I know? I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. This doesn't sound nuts to me. So if you feed the larvae to the chickens, and then we take the chickens and like snap their fucking neck, immediately throw them in like boiling water, aggressively pluck out their feathers, throw it in the oven, and then ravenously consume its flesh. That seems like a lot of work. Why not just like eat the thing that's it's eating? I don't know. I don't know. I think weird. What do I know?
Nico Ruud is plant manager of Prodi Farm. He performs regular checks on the quality of his worms. Around 2 billion people around the world eat insects daily, but it's still a big taboo in Europe.
I think within 5 years, it's quite normal to eat the insects. It will be inside as an ingredient in a lot of food products, I think. So within 5 years, I think we all eat a couple of times a year insects.
The worms are a sustainable source of energy containing 50% protein. They only need a fraction of the space, water, and feed that breeding higher orders of animals requires, and their CO2 emissions are minimal. The larvae live for 3 months in these boxes where they consume grain. When they're large enough to be harvested, they're flash frozen and shipped to customers.
Flash frozen and shipped to customers. I wonder if they freeze them alive. I bet they do. I bet they just take them and throw them in the freezer. What else would you do? How would you kill them otherwise? God, that's so weird. This is so weird. But let's get real, everybody. Eating food is weird in general. It's just normalized. So we all accept it, and it's not weird. Like I said about like the slaughtering of the cow and just fucking consuming it, basically raw. That's like normalized. People bring their dates, and you just sit there like trying to get to know each other on a first date over a dead slab of cow fucking flesh. So where did you go to school? Yeah. Oh, what's your sign? Oh, I'm a Libra. It's a good match. Think about how weird like first dates are. Hey guys, if you're like going on a first date with a chick, don't go to like a restaurant. It's the worst thing ever. Back to what I said before, you need the escape hatch. Once you sit down for the meal, you're in for the whole meal. It's too much of an investment on the first date. Time-wise, financially, everything. Like, coffee, a drink, minimal. You need to be able to get up and go at the drop of a dime on a first date. Even a second and third date, hell. Don't be taking these broads out to dinner. But again, where was I? Yeah, sitting down in front of the dead cow flesh and trying to get to know each other as you're like masticating your food and stuff. It's completely disgusting, but yeah, we all do it. Well, I don't do it. I'm just saying, what do I know? I mean, it might be a little bit worse if like instead of the cow flesh, you look down on your plate and there's a bunch of bug larvae just squirming around like you see here, but apparently they flash freeze the larvae and process it, mill it down into more of a palatable form, like a burger patty. I don't know.
Max Kramer and Barish Özil are the founders of Buxburger. They started their company Bug Foundation in 2014 with 10,000 euros in startup capital. Now the young entrepreneurs employ a team of 4 people. The founders first encountered edible insects during a world trip 7 years ago. That's how they got the idea to start their business.
When we first told friends, family, and acquaintances about our idea, most of them said we were crazy, that there's no way it would work. In the meantime, everybody thinks what we're doing is cool. And the next thing they say is, hey, when can we finally try it out?
They worked on the development of their burger patties for more than a year. The ground mealworms are mixed with peas, water, and a secret spice mixture.
The ground mealworm is mixed with peas, water, and a secret spice. That's probably not bad. I love peas. Peas, talk about nutritious, and peas have protein themselves. Valuable vitamins, minerals. They have a nice consistency. Peas are a very overlooked staple in any good nutritional diet plan. Who's with me when it comes to peas? You need to embrace peas a little bit more. And these guys know what they're doing. Maybe Sean and I, random fan, can go into business like these two guys. He already has the worm farm going. This could be us, Sean, in the future, making the big bucks with worms and larvae, living the high life.
The founders hope their burger will lead to less meat being eaten. That will be good for the environment because less grain will be used for cattle feed. And the insects are also climate friendly.
At the same time, we're hoping we'll become a model for other countries. For instance, in developing countries where they used to eat insects, but stopped doing so in order to adopt the Western lifestyle and eat beef burgers, following the McDonald's lifestyle.
In Germany, it's still illegal to sell food products containing insects. But a few restaurants in Belgium and the Netherlands already have Buck's burgers on their menus.
Of course, the Netherlands. I heard Voynich eats there. Hey, Voynich, why don't you head to one of these Netherlands Dutch fucked up bug burger places and let me know how it goes?
The exotic hamburgers cost between 12 and 17 euros. Starting next year, selling insect food products will be legalized in Germany too. Then the Bug Foundation founders will be worming their way into the fast food business.
Nice. Yeah, good stuff, everybody. Bugs on the menu tonight. Who's with me? Yeah, in all seriousness, I had it's everywhere. You could find it everywhere here in the States. It's like cricket flour. I think I was at like an Indian grocery store, you know, like dot, not feather. There's no feather like Native American, quote unquote, Indian grocery stores. They don't exist. At least not anywhere where where I've been. But I've been to like, you know, India grocery stores, and they had like cricket food. It was ground crickets. It wasn't bad. It was in these like almost like these candy bar type of things, like chocolate and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, weird. Weird stuff. All right, what else do I have for you guys? Yeah, Christy Lee says I'm just cheap. Christy, if you and I like went on a date, I assure you I wouldn't bring you to like a bug patty restaurant. I'd bring you to like a real one. Probably Thai. Do you like Thai, Christy Lee? That's my new thing now, Thai food. It's better than Chinese, better than Japanese. They make these rice noodles. Come on, man. So don't worry, Christy Lee. I wouldn't make you eat bugs. Oh, man. She says, "Yup, I love it. It's my new fave." So we're vibing, Christy. We'll go get some Thai food. All right, let me get into this next one. Let's do a hard left turn away from the bugs. It was a little creepy, that segment. I don't know why I liked it. I had a weird smile on my face during that whole thing. I don't know why. Me and Klaus Schwab. So weird. All right, so let's get into the next video. The next video is called... What did I title this one? Oh, Giants of the Pre-Flood World. We talked about this before. This idea that the world that we live in, this beautiful reality that we inhabit, well, it was similar in the past, but also much different. Namely, that the creatures here were very likely much larger. How do we know this? Well, not only does the Bible tell us about the giants that existed in the time of Noah, pre-flood, not only do many of the Other ancient cultures from all around this world talk about giants. Apparently, the secret societies and mystery schools all knew there was giants here at one point. But it also turns out that there's records, these quote unquote fossilized records, these mud records of very large animals. Animals that were much like the ones we see today on this earth, just bigger. And not just animals, the plant life apparently was much bigger. I mean, much bigger. And the giants that were here, well, they may have been us. Some ancestors associated with us. But either way, there seems to have been a world that was right here, maybe not even that long ago, that was much, much different. Very likely had a different atmosphere. Who knows? Might have been comprised of different components in the atmosphere. But for whatever reason, there's strong evidence to show that our world was vastly different than the one we inhabit, and also the one that they taught us. So let's get into it. This is a good one.
There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. And it repented the Lord that he had made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart.
All right, so this is presenting the classic biblical narrative found in Genesis regarding the precursor to the flood. So here it is, right in Genesis, the accepted Bible presented to us, not even like the books and scriptures that they hid from us, the ones that they're apparently keeping in the basement of the Vatican, like locked up. They like gave us this little passage here, which is a window, a bit of an insight into this pre-flood world. Now, we can argue about the timeline, but that's less important. I would say the timeline is more recent than distant, but we can argue about that. Certainly not millions of years, thousands maybe hundreds, but that might be a bridge too far for some of you.
Not only do our living fossils.
All right, check this guy out. His name's Trey Smith. I don't know him. Maybe some of you do. So we're just going to take him for what he's presenting here, which is fascinating. He's basically going to compare and contrast current day flora and fauna with that of this pre-flood time, this pre-diluvian time. And the juxtaposition is quite fascinating.
Of which there are wealths, look identical in the fossil record as they do right now today. But one little bitty catch, for example, horsetail plants like this one on the screen here aren't just identical in the ancient past, but are believed to have grown to roughly 100 feet in height. This is a modern horsetail trunk. This is an ancient horsetail trunk. Here's your modern dragonfly. Here's your ancient dragonfly. This thing couldn't breathe today or lift up off the ground and fly either.
So that's very interesting and a great point about this old dragonfly, which is orders of magnitude larger than the current dragonfly. But he says it couldn't breathe today and it couldn't fly. And that's key, because that means that the composition of the so-called atmosphere must have been quite different. Maybe more dense, maybe more liquidy in some way. Some people think the air is basically a form of ether, or at least that ether would be the background medium associated with the atmos. But either way, it's a different understanding of this world. And as he says, it must have been different, because the biology, the anatomy evidenced in these ancient creatures is not compatible with the current world that we inhabit.
Did you know that creatures like lizards or dragonflies, for that matter, actually start off little bitty, just like a regular lizard or creature today? And based upon the individual design of their genetic software, will actually grow to be whatever size that the environment they are born into allows for.
The organism, based off its genetics, will grow to whatever size that the environment that it's born into will allow. This is a fascinating presentation. Now, we can evidence this in many ways. You can look at a concept called epigenetics. It's basically an idea that our genetics, or more specifically, the fashion in which our genetics are expressed, which is typically called the phenotype. The fashion in which our genetics are expressed is dictated by the environment. And this is substantiated. You can demonstrate this through experimentation. And it's been done many times. The most primary example would be with what's called stem cells, embryonic stem cells to be specific, because these embryonic stem cells are what's called undifferentiated and multipotential. This means that this basic cell, this undifferentiated multipotential embryonic stem cell, contains within it the capacity to become any cell that that organism has, any cell that that organism can produce. Let's take humans. If you have a human embryo, the stem cells within the embryo will develop, if left to form naturally, into all the pluricity of cells that we find in our human body. Whether it's a neuronal cell, a muscle cell, a connective tissue cell, a cardiac cell. There's so many. And then all the derivations within those groups. They all started from a single uniform stem cell. Well, you find through experimentation, if you take these stem cells and you place them in different environments, picture a petri dish and etc., and if you introduce different chemical factors, you can influence the growth of these cells. What you're basically doing is you're influencing the genetics to produce different physical characteristics. The genetics will express relative to the environment in which they're located. And this is the point he's making here about the organisms that we see evidenced in the past through the fossil records compared to the same organisms that we see today. And the idea is that genetically they may have been exactly the same, but it was the particular environment of the time that influenced their growth. And furthermore, why would man be any different? Are we a reduced, downgraded version of some progenitor mankind, some previous mankind? Are we the remnants of the giants, the so-called men of renown? Are we the progeny of the so-called fallen ones?
Many, of course, requiring much longer lifespans. It's really almost like a de-evolution, isn't it? Things going from bigger and better and tougher to smaller and lesser and weaker. This right here is an armadillo from the ancient world. It is roughly the size of a small car. This is the fossil of an ant. It's about the size of a modern-day hummingbird. This is an ancient crocodile called a super croc, which could just about fit a modern crocodile right in its mouth. This is a modern bald eagle's head. This above it is an ancient bald eagle's head. This is a 3-foot-long rodent. This is a giant fossilized cockroach. This can get up to 18 inches. Give a very special thanks to Noah for not letting a pair of these get on the boat. This is a 14-foot-long turtle. This is a giant ground sloth. Rhinoceros bones, which are 17 feet tall. This is a modern beaver's head. This is a pre-flood ancient beaver's head.
Now, one other theory on this particular rock formation, which is unlike any other rock formation in the United States.
All right, so now this gentleman is going to get into the idea of the giant trees that seem to be evidenced all over the world. The one he's showing now is a particular one. I believe this is called Devil's Peak, right here in these United States. And when you examine this, after some degree of scrutiny, it's hard to argue against this being a tree.
United States, period, is that it is the remnants of a biblical massive tree that became fossilized. And before you roll your eyes and shake your head, if you've never been there, well, you've never been there. But I'll tell you what, if you look at this massive rock formation, the entire base of it is surrounded by prayer bundles, colorful strips of cloth in remembrance of others, etc. But it's just surrounded by massive boulders, and then it just goes straight up. And the tree, I'm sorry, a little Freudian slip. The rock looks exactly like the cells you would see in a cross-cut tree, all the way to the very top, including on the top. It looks nothing like a rock. It looks almost completely and only like a tree. Is that the case? Well, we'll never know, because history is held close to the vest by the wealthy people that have always ran this country and this world. And the less we believe that there is a creator, the happier they are. It's just how it is. Look at history, look at the way of the world, and it stands to reason. I shouldn't have to explain very much more. But when you look at this, it looks much more like a tree stump than it does a rock.
Yeah. That's a tree, everybody. If you can see this and still hold on to your pre-indoctrinated conditioned belief set, well, I don't know what to do for you. It's a tree, and there's plenty of them all around the world.
But look at this. This is evidence. Society and the world at large would try to have you believe that this is just erosion. Wind and rain over time just carved out this perfect tree stump right there in the middle of nowhere, and it didn't have any effect on the surrounding areas whatsoever. Okay? I don't believe it. I'm going to repeat that verse from the book of Enoch, just that one particular, chapter 66, verse 2. Now then shall the angels labor at the trees, but when they proceed to do this, I will put my hand upon it and preserve it. I was laying down in the house of my grandfather, Machalel, when I saw in a vision heaven purifying and snatched away. And when it says heaven, it's talking about the sky, right? Our dome of the heaven above us. And falling to the earth. So he saw the heaven falling to the earth. He saw the sky falling, right? The sky can't fall. Physical things fall down, right? So something physical up above us called the heavens, he saw in a vision falling down to the earth. And falling to the earth, I saw likewise the earth absorbed by a great abyss, and mountains suspended over mountains. Hills were sinking upon hills. Lofty trees were gliding off from their trunks and were in the act of being projected and of sinking into the abyss. Lofty trees were gliding off of their trunks and were in the act of being projected and sinking into the abyss, sinking into what we call the ocean these days. This blows my mind. This amazes me. I believe that there are all kinds of remnants of an ancient world down at the bottom of the ocean, because I believe that the ancient world was fossilized. It was turned into stone. So let me reread that. Hills, this is a vision that he saw. Hills were sinking upon hills, lofty trees, not regular trees, lofty trees, silica pillars. I'm paraphrasing. Were gliding off from their trunks and were in the act of being projected and sinking into the abyss.
Silicification is a petrification process in which silica...
All right, so this is interesting. Silicification. Because people will say, see, wait, they're petrified. That means like millions of years, like dinosaur time, 65 million years, Z. Of course, this was like way long ago. Well, not necessarily. I mean, I know that's what they teach you. But what if there's another method by which these things become petrified? A process that's more rapid. Check this out.
Silica-rich fluids seep into the voids of earth materials. Silicification happens when rocks or organic materials are in contact with silica-rich surface water buried under sediments and susceptible to groundwater flow. Silica is the second most abundant element in Earth's crust and is a major component of 95% of presently identified rocks. In some cases, silica and siliceous rocks are subjected to hydrothermal alteration and react with seawater at certain temperatures, forming an acidic solution for silicification of nearby materials. The higher the silica content, the faster silicification could take place. The same concept applies to hydrothermal fluids. Meaning that if silica is indeed the second most abundant element in Earth's crust, and something were to happen like, say, superheated hydrothermal fluid erupted out of the Earth all over the world, causing some type of cataclysmic flood, seems to me, as far as having all the ingredients you would need for petrification, the flood was quite literally the perfect storm.
In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened.
So this clip they're showing now is from the movie Noah, which is a pretty crazy movie. If anybody is into it, I'd recommend it, at least for like one watch. I believe it was directed by one Darren Aronofsky, who's like a popular director. And it stars Russell Crowe, believe it or not. And it's a movie about Noah, but it has like a very Gnostic take on it. And there's a lot of things encoded in it. It goes into the whole idea of the line of Shem versus the line of Cain, which were two of the surviving sons of Adam. Well, it turns out that first son, Cain, may not have been of Adam's seed, but that's a whole nother story. And it actually has the character Tubal Cain in there. And it presents a very alternative view of the flood of Noah. It's a strange movie. It has the Watchers depicted in. They actually help Noah build the ark and protect it. It has the depiction of Noah's grandfather, Methuselah, apparently the oldest man to ever live, 990 years. And that part was played by one Mr. Sir Anthony Hopkins. It's a very strange movie. Very strange. So anyway, yeah. And some people were questioning the validity of some of the images there at the end of the potentially fossilized giant animals. And of course, we don't know. Who knows? But they're likely trying to prove a point there. Good stuff, everybody. All right, here's what we'll do. Let's take a musical interlude. And I'll give anybody a chance who wants to come on up. Come on up to the panel and lend your voice to today's Z Show. So many people are so vocal. Well, I should say they're quite active in the chat. Maybe they should be more vocal because we have the wonderful technology where you can come up and you could speak your mind. You could let us know how you feel here. This isn't like a mutual agreement in society. We don't all have to agree with each other. No, we should always be respectful and cordial. But we should take advantage of this wonderful opportunity that we have to discourse with each other. It's one of the great things about humanity. When we get together and combine our thoughts, our dreams, our feelings, we tend to come to more of a cohesive understanding of not only this whole reality, but of ourselves. All right, y'all. More Z Show in a bit. Come on up to the panel. It's wide open. Yeah, coming at you. It's a dance party here on Z Show.
Yeah. I missed you guys.
Mazel tov.
How's it going,
I
Josh?
miss you guys so much.
How's it going, bro? How you doing?
Going.
Long.
Well, I can hear my echo in the background.
Hold on a second. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Somebody's echoing. Can you hear me, Josh?
Yeah.
Oh, good. The echo's gone. It must have been one of those guys. How you doing, Josh? I'm liking the new do.
It's been a long time in it.
Let me see what's going on. I like your haircut, man. I actually was thinking about doing the same thing with my hair.
I'm actually 20 now.
Oh, you went from Josh 18 to Josh 20.
Just turned 20 for my birthday, guys.
Nice. You're getting old, Josh.
I know.
So how have you been? Give us the Josh update. Just doing your thing?
Yeah.
Nice.
Probably have quit YouTube, you know.
What'd you say? You quit YouTube?
Yeah.
Like you're quitting now, or you quit before and now you're back?
Yeah. I'm back, baby.
You quit? Why did you quit? You just took some time off?
Yeah, I need some time off.
Good. I'm glad you're well, Josh. I was thinking, like, not long ago, I was like, I wonder how Josh is doing. I knew you'd be well, though.
Where's he going? Where's my best friend going? I'm gonna cry. I saw you
I know.
about to cry, then I was like,
Well, the show wasn't the same without you, Josh. It just wasn't.
it's been a long time.
Yeah, man. So that's it? No other updates? No other
Why
updates
they
in your
calling
life?
me a kid?
Well, you're a kid to him because he's an old man. His name's Marky. So
He
you're a
needs
kid
to-
to him.
Yeah, he
like
needs
we're
to
both
take a shower.
kids. Yeah, he's not like young and cool like we are. He's kind of like old and you know,
Yeah.
he's past his prime. He has kids himself, I think. He's like a dad and stuff.
It's been. Do you remember last time we did turned Charles, and I
What did-
turned in. I think I don't know. That was
What
like
did we
long
What
time
did we
ago.
do?
You were
No, we
turned
did
12.
James Charles. Is that his name? James Charles?
Yeah, and you were that one, and I was. Who am I?
You were somebody else. Do you want me to be James Charles again? Is he still on YouTube?
Have a look on YouTube.
Hi everybody. It's James Charles. Have you
Oh my
checked out my
God.
new Have you checked out my new cosmetics line, everybody? It's pastel. It's the season. James
Oh my
Charles.
God.
Is that his name? James? I forgot his name, Josh. I forgot he was named James Charles.
I think it. Oh yeah, you know JoJo Siwa made a new song. Cardi
Who's
the
that?
Bitch. It's Cardi Bitch.
Oh, Cardi B. She sounded like 2018.
Yeah, she needs to take a shower.
Oh, Cardi B stinks. I bet.
Cardi B.
No, it's Jeffree Star. That's who I am. Thank you, Christy Lee Dolls. I'm Jeffree Star.
I'm gonna give you a clip, guys.
Oh my God. Cardi B's like so old. Megan Thee Stallion's way
Yeah.
better.
Can you,
Josh,
come back around?
you want to bring up some people and like talk to some people in the back?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. Let's bring up this guy. His name's Scott. You let me know what you think of Scott. He's okay. Sometimes he's kind of lame. Let's bring him up. Hi, Scott.
Hi,
It's
Scott.
Jeffree Star. Don't be lame. You're echoing. You're
How am
so
I echoing?
silly.
I'm not sure what's going on here.
Because you're
Is there an
probably
echo?
drunk, Scott. You're
No,
probably
I don't
wasted.
drink.
Ew. Sorry,
Wait, I'm
Scott.
gonna. Oh yeah, I got the burn book. Make it look like I'm Regina George. I'm gonna write his name on it. He's fat, disgusting pig.
That's right. Scott's a fat, disgusting pig. He needs to go. I'm swiping left on Scott. Let's bring up Morgan. Maybe Morgan's better. Hi, Morgan. Welcome to the Jeffree Star and Joshua show.
Hey, bitches.
Oh, hell no. Right, that's it. I'm putting my hair up. Bestie, back me up.
Nice moves.
Hi, Morgan. How are you?
Well, I get up from a nap. Actually, I think I might be getting a little better. Like I was feeling a little bit.
Is it making you too old?
Oh, being sick is gross.
Making me too
Being
old.
sick
That's
is
right.
being sick is gross, Morgan. Ew.
So I took off the beard. You know.
We're mean girls. If you're not wearing pink in this table, there's a front door, bitch.
Yeah, I got my skin. My skin's pink. It's like red, but not quite. See?
You can't sit with us.
So, Morgan, explain to me and Josh why we should let you on the panel.
Why you should let me on the panel? Isn't it obvious? I bring.
Cause you're broke.
I bring pink and smiles.
Oh, sad for you, cause you're not having lunch with us. Let's go. Jeffree Star, come on, let's get out of here.
Yeah, I think Morgan's broke. Broke is gross, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm trying to be the guy off new model off the Zigzag pack.
Oh, he's a mouthy boy.
So, Morgan, what are your current thoughts on cosmetics and eyeshadow versus lipstick?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So I mean, you have to have a good eyebrow pen, like first to start with. The eyebrows entirely, and just put them in with the pencil, and that's what I think about that.
Is that your method?
I got this kind of a pen.
Hated it. Morgan, what are you gonna do about that bald spot? If you want to be on the panel with us, you got to do something about that. It's gross.
You don't like that? That's what you do know. They show those for extra piety in the ancient world. They adopt this cut so that they can look like me. That's why they did that. They did that because it shows that you've got an extra contact to God. You know God so much like that.
Morgan.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Morgan, I'm sorry, Morgan. The gothic monk look is like so out.
I'm bringing it back.
No, you're not, or else we're gonna kick you out. There's a dog, bitch.
This isn't the Z show. This is the Jeffree Star show.
Yeah. Wait, I could be Tanner. Hey guys, do you know who I really look like? I look like Tanner.
The one Osmond girl when she was younger. Or the one
Yes.
Yeah, off Aussie. Yeah. Yeah, she, what's his daughter's name? They're Osborne.
Her name's Kelly, okay? Her name's Kelly. And she's
looks like Kelly Osborne when she was younger. Yeah,
well,
she turned
Kelly's
out
a fashion
really beautiful
icon.
now.
She's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
You really do really do.
We love
no.
Kelly Osbourne on Z
Yep.
Show. I mean, the Jeffree Star Show.
Yeah.
I thought that too. I was like, that's Jeffree Star that you're thinking of.
It is Jeffree Star. James Charles
James
is
Star.
different. James Charles and
Really
Jeffree
a
Star
lot
aren't
different.
friends anymore. I like Jeffree Star way better than James Charles. He's so lame.
He's so lame.
Joshua, how can we glam up Morgan? I think he needs a makeover. What do you think?
I
Yeah,
think
what do I
we need to beat him up.
You think
Let's
so?
get it. Jump him.
First off, I think he needs a haircut. I think the mullet is like so 1991. Ew.
Let's do it, Chan Charles. Let's do it. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's beat him up.
That's what you get. That's what you get, Morgan, for being so old.
Snatch his hair and slap his face. Is there a pig in here?
Josh, I heard you went to that old guy's channel last night. How was that?
It was so great.
Was it great?
Wait, are you on about that old man?
Yeah, the old guy. He looks like the crypt keeper. Him. He looks like a skeleton with like a cowboy hat.
Wait, do you remember that?
What, when the skeleton guy with the cowboy hat was like mean to you? Yeah, how can I forget? It was horrible.
Wait, I was in the chat thing, and then I said sorry, and then he kicked me out. That was so a bitch.
Oh yeah, he's the worst. I think his name's Dave. Ew, Dave, get alive, Sovereign Dave. Join the cool kids.
Girls only.
That's right.
Wait, who's not a girl in this group?
I'm at least half. The good half.
Oh wait, you should join a group. You have to act like a girl, or else you're gonna get kicked out. That's a dog bitch.
That's right. There's the door. This is the Mean Girl crew, Morgan. You're gonna have to really up your game to hang out with us.
I got the hair. What are you guys
Hey, everybody in the audience.
I got the
lashes. Hey, everybody in the audience. Remember when they tried to cancel Z the last time he was Jeffree Star? Weird. It's almost like people don't like free speech, and when people express themselves, it's almost like people just want to be like the controllers themselves. They rail against the controlling structure. It's weird. It's like a bunch of people who are against the authorities trying to be the authorities. Ew, gross. Yeah.
It's the last season.
That is so last season. And it's right, Morgan can't sit at our table.
Ooh, 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 ooh,
Yeah.
I'm so cool.
Yeah. What's your mean girl name, Joshua? That's not a mean girl name. Come on.
Regina George. Wait, you could
Regina.
be Regina.
No, I'm Jeffrey.
Okay, I'll be Regina George.
Okay, great.
I'm a
What do you think we
loser.
should have for dinner tonight? Should we have like sushi? Or
Oh my
what do you
God,
think?
Yes.
I love sushi. Isn't it great?
Oh my God. Wait, can I tell you my secret?
Go ahead. Just between us girls.
Okay. I'm a virgin.
Regina, you're a virgin? That's okay, Regina. You just haven't found the right guy yet. I'm sure you will.
Look on your chart. That says it's oh, okay.
So let's go through the chat and let's see who's in and who's out. Ready?
Yeah.
What about John Thomas? Is he in or out?
He's in.
He's in. Ooh, looks like
have a
somebody has a
crush on him.
crush. Oh, I
have a
knew
crush on him.
it. What about this guy? His name is Ice Grills. Is he in or out?
Wait, that's the same guy.
No, that's
the
not
same
Dave.
guy.
They just all the old guys look the same. He's
I
out.
remember this
Ew.
dude.
This
I
guy's
remember this
out. Let's get rid of him. What about this guy who looks like Keanu Reeves? Keanu Reeves is so in.
Tell him to come up. I want to speak with him.
Do you want to speak to Keanu? Come on, Keanu. We love you.
You act like a girl in this group.
That's right. What about Bubba Fett? Oh, bounty hunter. That's hot. What do you think?
Yes. Check.
Yeah, Bubba Fett's in. How about this guy? His name's Ryan. Let's look real close. Oh, he looks like he has a nice beard. That's manly. Ryan, you are so in.
Check. Come on in.
Let's see if we want to invite a new member in our Mean Girl crew. This is Lindsay
Yes.
Smith. Let's take a look at Lindsay. You think she could be in our crew? I don't know.
Totally. She's
Yeah,
so beautiful.
Lindsay, you are. You're in. Totally.
Check.
Definitely check.
Because this is only beautiful girls only. No
That's
poor
right.
boys.
What about this one? Her name's Heidi Divine Spark 313. I think she's in too, but she might need a bit of a glam up. She's a little, like nature nut and crunchy. I just think she needs a little bit of rouge, some under eye makeup, and maybe just a little bit of
a
earth
little bit
tone lipstick.
What about the curly hair?
Well, I think she needs a blowout. What do you think?
Check.
Definitely. Who else is here that we could evaluate? A bunch of old people. Why are there so many old people here in Z Show? So gross. Ugh. Ugh.
I'm breaking my own character. I'm not gonna do it, guys. I'm gonna stay in it. Oh my god. What was that? Is that my boyfriend here? Oh my god. It's the last season.
Wait, Regina, your boyfriend's there? I thought you were a virgin.
Wait a minute. Oh my
Go ahead.
god. What are you doing, babe? What are you doing with that? Jen Towers is a bitch. Don't say that. I'll beat you up, bitch. You know what? We're breaking up.
That's right. Dump his ass. Bye, boyfriend.
Bye, Felicia.
Hit the road. Nobody wants you anyway.
I'm gonna put your money in the burn book.
Yeah. Gross. Ew.
I want a new boyfriend. I bet someone's gonna be my boyfriend in that chat. Are you still there? Oh no. Oh no, he's. Oh.
I'm here, Regina.
You scared me then. I was like.
Regina Joshua.
Yes.
What about this lady? Should we let her in our club? Let's take a
Yes.
look. Oh, she's in. She's definitely glamorous.
Wait, I
Definitely.
remember this girl. Wait, can I say something? I remember this girl with the on the thing. Do you know Thomas?
Well,
This-
she's
this is
hot,
her.
of course. She's so hot. What about this girl? Her name is Snowfire. Ooh, she is hot as fire. She's in 100%.
Check.
Ooh, I love her dress.
Her dress is cute.
Totally.
So pretty.
That's right. What's this says? Don't judge me. Says Joshua called me a sausage and a bitch. Ew. Sorry, sausage
Oh my
bitch.
god. I'm gonna faint. Oh my god. I'm gonna faint.
Sausage bitch, you are not in our club anymore. You are so gone.
Out.
Ew.
Oh wait, no. I feel bad. I feel bad for. I'm still like you guys. I'm just pretending.
Regina, do you want to bring back Josh? Can Josh come back?
Who's Josh?
Joshua.
Okay. Hold on. Well.
Hi, Josh.
Hi.
Hi. Look, Josh, I'm going to bring Z back, and you can come visit us tomorrow if you want, okay? Josh, what are you doing up so late? It's late for you.
Hey.
When's your bedtime? It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Ew, maybe even 2
Oh,
o'clock.
no, you don't. If you kick me out one more time, I'm gonna go come in over there and beat you up.
You can't come here, Josh.
Oh my god, Regina's coming. Oh my god, just go. Bye bye, Felicia.
All right, Josh, let me put you in the back. I need to bring Z back. I can't leave Jeffree Star up on Z show all night. I'll probably get sued.
Why are you kicking me out again?
Come talk to us in a little bit, Josh. Bye. I could just get stuck in the Jeffree Star character all night. Just go full Jeffree Star. I'm glad somebody reminded me. It wasn't James Charles. John Thomas is going off on the Canaanites. It's funny, John Thomas. I was like going through some of my old material, like making videos and stuff, and I came across a conversation you and I were having about the Canaanites, Solomon, his whole deal. I think there's a lot to it. And for some reason, like you're going off about the Canaanites right now in chat. Why are the Canaanites on your mind, John? Like, what's that about, dude? Like, I'm just looking down. Like, I'm pretending to be Jeffree Star with Joshua. And I just see John Thomas, like, spurging off about the Canaanites. It's such a weird juxtaposition. Like, to see, like, those two things happening simultaneously. It's very strange. Let me get my name back to Z. I don't know. I like John Thomas. I don't know what like people have against you, John Thomas. He just says disturbances in the force. Well, I'll take it for face value, dude. It's so funny. All right, let's play a little bit more music. I need to get more water. The Jeffree Star thing kind of did me in. All right, guys. Brief musical interlude. I'll be back shortly. Links in chat if you want to come on up and contribute to today's Z Show. Much love, all.
There is a fifth dimension. Beyond that which is known to man. It is a dimension as vast as space and as timeless as infinity. It is the middle ground between light and shadow. Between science and superstition. And it lies between the tip of man's fears and the summit of his knowledge. This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Where is this place and when to it? The answer is, it doesn't make any difference. In this year or 100 years hence. On this planet or wherever there is human life. Lessons to be learned in the Twilight Zone.
It's as if someone had pulled out some kind of plug in me. Everything, emotion, fear, trainer. And now
All of you have just entered the Twilight Zone.
4, 3, 2.
Heyo. That was a surprise, Joshua. Who's here that's a longtime listener? And how was it to see Josh? I'll have to say that at times I would think about Josh. He'd pop in my head. I go, I wonder how that kiddo's doing. It's cool to see him back. I'm glad he's well. Somebody dropped me a hint last night that he was on Sov Dave's. I must have popped in there. I didn't check it out or anything. So when I saw him on pop up today, I wasn't like completely surprised. Like Heidi says, blast in the past. Heidi, do you remember when they like certain people tried to cancel me because of Josh? If you guys weren't here for it, it's hard to explain like those times and how things were going down at the time. But that was the big move. It's like, oh, cancel Z because he would let Josh on. Hey guys who tried to do that, you didn't realize that the YouTube age to use YouTube is 13 years old, by the way. You could obviously tell he's older than that. And look, he's in the back. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Josh. I see you in the back. I'm not going to let you. I'll let you up again another night. I'd rather just talk about you now. He looks 18 now. He's Joshua 20, but now he actually looks 18. That's funny. Jessica Jane remembers. And they're like, oh, cancel Z. Yeah, sorry, morons. That was one of my big things with the so-called truther community that I noticed early on was that the LGBT thing, the gay thing, the trans thing, and how bigoted so many people are. And yes, I do say bigoted. It's one of the reasons why when you come to my show, I present the way I do. Yeah, Heidi's exactly right. He's at least 18 now. Probably why he's back. But yeah, for anybody who like doesn't understand that, the age that YouTube has as part of their guidelines and policies, as far as somebody being able to use the platform by themselves, is 13. And if you're under 13, you could do so with parental supervision. Yeah, Steve remembers. Some people understand what I'm doing. I'm always going to stand on my principles. Always. It'd be very tough to get me to sell out at this point. I don't know. Like, if you threw me Joe Rogan money, yeah, you might see me sell out. Like, if I got Joe Rogan money, you might see Z basically becoming like an anti-flat earther. I'd probably do quite well at this point. I mean, Cleveland Steve, imagine right at this point if I all of a sudden like turned on the flat earth community and went full glober. Steve, you know, I would do very well. Like in the millions. If I just went like full, like a Lumitami level globetard at this point. I would just do very well. Snowfire said Josh was on Tommy's last night. It's like, Josh, you're making the rounds. I see you back there, Josh. You were on the Tommy's last night and Solve Dave's. So you're making your presence known. You're making your way back to becoming a prominent social media personality. Right, Marky? Like if I did a Z heel turn all of a sudden and then went full globy. Speaking about Tommy, if I just like jumped on Tommy's show and said, you know what, Tom? I've been thinking about everything you've been trying to tell me for a year. And I think you're right. I was mixed up about this whole thing, about the earth and stuff. You're right. And I just went full globetard. I would make a lot of money because I know everything about flat earth. And I'd be like one of the first, like, let's say, semi-prominent flat earthers to flip. It's never happened, not yet. God, I'd make so much money. Maybe I'll come up with an alternate personality, and that'll be my like globy personality. Maybe I'll do my Jeffree Star. I'll have to change my name a little bit. It'll be like Jeffree Stars are trillions of miles away. How's that? And that'll be my globy personality. And I'll just put a wig on and some makeup. You guys won't know it's me. I mean, the beard might be tough to hide. And then I just come out and I go full globe. I see these globe people. The FTFE guy, the Fight the Flat Earth guy, the one that's been on Jaren lately with the debates. The guy makes a lot of money. So you can do the math on it. He has over 1,000 he has 1,000 channel members just on his YouTube channel at $10 a pop. For some of you maybe who have a little trouble in math, like maybe that wasn't your best subject, that's $10,000 a month that he's bringing in just from his YouTube membership base. Not to mention all the millions of views the guy gets. Now, I know YouTube's going to get their cut, but you know what I'm saying. The Freak says, I think people would end themselves or others if I did the Z flip. Yeah, like Z on its side is an N. Hey, everybody, this is N. N the Globy. Maybe I should try it out here, the Freak. I should try my N persona. What's Tarek saying? I'm trying to monologue to get my numbers back up. People seem to listen more when I just speak. It's weird. That's right. I have you all like hypnotized with the Z thing. I'm in your brain, everybody. Tarek says, Z, I promise you making lots of money or being rich usually brings more headache and false people around you. Ask Rose. And then he just throws a rose dig in out of nowhere. Yeah, Heidi, N. Well, here's the thing, Tarek. I was in a lifestyle. I would have never have called myself rich. But Tarek, man, I had the wife, the home, the in-ground pool, the cars, the career. I had the whole thing, man. And I'm going to have to agree with you. More headaches and fake people. All I had around me was fake people. The whole thing was goofy, man. That's the weird thing about this weird culture. It gets you to buy in. It's basically selling out. But it's normalized. Most people just think that's the way it is. They accept it. Unfortunately, it's propagandized and engineered, conditioned at such a young age that by the time you reach some sense of maturity and adulthood, you're already invested. By the time most young men and women are 21 or 22 years old, they've already went through college loans, time, money poured into the pursuit of whatever it is. So but I agree, man. The money's not all it's cracked up to be. Now, is money in some way like intrinsically, let's say, negative or bad? I don't know. I mean, the Bible says it's easier to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven. That's pretty strong words. I don't know. Maybe they just gave us that to control us, to keep us all in like a poor mindset. Either way, I will say this. One's level of wealth is really no measure into their character. It is no true degree of success, or it's no true metric of success. Snowfire says, sounds awful. Oh, Snowfire. Like, I was, I was that guy. Constantly working, everything. I didn't quite belong in it. I think as I was doing it deep down inside, I think I always knew that it wouldn't last. I don't know. Maybe that's just my perspective looking back on it all these years later. So, yeah, like Tarek says, you need money to live and stuff, but he agrees. So it's a weird position we're in. That's why I don't really fault people much anymore. I just kind of consider this whole world like a fallen place, one in which compromise must be made, a world in which there are no true absolutes. It's kind of the way I look at it. I don't need to like have these strong opinions either way on many of these things. I don't know. I am a Libra. People tell me that means something as far as my zodiac sign. I've always been able to look at both sides of any issue, weigh it out. It's one of the things I have. But it's not all like, roses and peaches and stuff. Sometimes it's hard to make decisions. It's hard to be decisive. Because I am able to see usually both sides of any argument. So, it just gives me my own little particular point of view. All right, maybe we'll get on to the news. We're already getting on in the show. I was just so surprised to see Joshua. Like I said, less surprised. I was more surprised last night when somebody came in my chat and they were like, "Oh, Joshua's on Sov Dave's," and I just registered it. I said, "Really? How strange." And how interesting, Mr. Joshua, if you're still listening, you just kind of come out of nowhere. Where have you been? Who knows? I won't get into the whole thing. And we'll probably never get the full story on you, Mr. Joshua. Many of us are just glad to see that you're well. There's a number of us that were like invested in you for so many reasons. I think he's one of my best panelists, which is the funny part. Like I could pull old clips where like he makes more sense than half the people I have up here. At least he's not trying to like argue like and trying to convince me that like, space is real. And there's like two space stations floating up there. At least he doesn't do that. Or he doesn't come up here and like slam me over the head with a Bible. So like I said, come on, everybody. Get with it. Where's my music? Much love, guys and dolls. All right, y'all, it's time for news. In tonight's top story, executor of O.J. Simpson's estate changes stance on Goldman family payout. O.J. Simpson's longtime attorney and executor of his estate has backpedaled on earlier remarks suggesting he would block any claims for settlement money from Ron Goldman's family members, who, along with Nicole Brown's family, were awarded millions in a civil judgment that was never paid in full. Nevada-based lawyer Malcolm Somebody had represented Simpson, the former NFL star and acquitted murder defendant, notoriously found not guilty in the killings of Goldman and Brown from 2009 until his death from prostate cancer last week. Simpson's will was filed in a Clark County court and formally named Laverne the executor of his estate. His family had announced Simpson's death the previous day. All right, so there's some back and forth here with the Simpson estate. No surprise to me that he never really fully paid out the money that he owed via the civil court. I never understand how these things work. It's very confusing to me because you find some of these civil judgments, the penalties are quite exorbitant often. I always wonder, what do people do when they're obligated to pay these high costs for these civil cases? Do they just claim bankruptcy as their deals that they make? I bet every case is different. But it's kind of weird. I remember the whole OJ thing very vividly. The verdict came in when I was a senior in high school. I remember the day when it happened. It was weird that the OJ verdict was like one of these days I could remember. I'll have some guests in the back. Hey, look, it's Cleveland Steve. Cleveland Steve, welcome to Z Show. What's going on, man?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
I don't have a camera.
That's all right. I know what you look like.
No, it's been a while. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. How's things in your neck of the woods?
Not bad. As you can tell, I've been laying low for a little bit here. It's been a wild ride this last year or two, you know what I mean?
I know, it's been wild, man. This whole thing's been wild. Not only is it just wild here on, the metaverse, it's just crazy everywhere. It's just crazy times, man. Whoever thought that these times would get the way they are now?
It's insane. It's almost like life is like we're living on a National Lampoon's movie. You know what I mean? It's the things that are happening, like how people can't see how crazy they are. I mean, it's insane. Or how the cog disc can just look past it just baffles me. You know what I mean?
Well, it appears to be getting worse, man. It's like the more things get, the stranger things get, the more people just seem to turn away from it.
For sure.
Yeah, it's really strange, man.
I agree. And you and I kind of have a little bit of history too. And I think back to, all the Stavely stuff and the awakening and all that. And it really wasn't that long ago. And how much, I'm sure you could say the same thing, like how much even your belief system and the things that you think change so fast. When I look back at that stuff, it's like I'm in a whole different page of life or in my journey than then. And that, it wasn't long ago. And it seems like decades ago in my mind, you know what I mean?
I know, man. It's so weird. For some reason, YouTube is like completely throttling my numbers. It says there's 2 people watching, but I have a guy in the back. Me and you were here, and there's at least like 20 people still in chat. Now it says there's 0 people watching.
Mine says 1 watching.
So I wonder if they fucked with me because Joshua. Let me ask you, dude. Do you think that Joshua's in some way? There's like a weird thing tied with him. So I remember when he first came around, and I was wondering if there was
Yeah.
like fuckery afoot from YouTube.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, because Beck says exactly, because the same thing used to happen when Josh would come around, and now it says there's 0 people watching, and we know that's not true. So I'm obviously still live online. So, and my numbers have never been this low in my show. Like my numbers never drop below 60 once I get in a certain point of the show. No, I get it. Joshua was on and I was pretending to be gay and I was kind of sandbagging the show because Joshua was back. I get that. But the fact that I've hit 0 numbers right now, Steve, when there's a bunch of people in the chat still talking to me is absolutely insane. And it makes me wonder, like, what's going on here? That has to be more than coincidence, dude, that
I'm just
Joshua would come on and like now it's 0. So something's up, man. And
Yeah, it
people
seems
think
like
that.
there's
Go
something
ahead.
to it for sure. I say it seems like there's something to it for sure. I actually I popped on. I didn't get to hear him, but I saw him at the end. So I don't know what it was all about, but could people report stuff like that? I mean, people are doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence.
Yeah, it's strange, man. And the YouTube policy for people to use it is 13 years old, dude. It's 13. So
Really?
people don't understand.
Does it differ for live streams as far as the policies and stuff?
No, it's the same policy, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm not sure what their deal is. It's quite strange.
yeah.
Yeah, like Christy Lee says, this is a first. I've never seen this either, Christy Lee. This is so amazing to me. You know what, Steve? This tells me it's time to like expand beyond YouTube for so many things.
Yeah.
But like you said, this has been like a wild, strange trip here on YouTube. I remember the first time I ran into you online. You went to a meetup with Stavely. You drove, and he kind of like interviewed you, like like at the meetup and stuff. And
Yeah.
that's the first time I said, "Oh, there's this guy's Cleveland Steve from Cleveland, of course."
Yeah. Well, was that before? Because I know we were on. It was one of his where call-in shows where you can go on there too. I think that's the first time I met you, and that's before you got started with your channel and all that stuff. But back then, so I've been kind of following you, since the very beginning, obviously.
Well, for those listening, by the way, Bex is reporting that this is happening on a bunch of channels on YouTube. So something's going on with YouTube.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes me feel better.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, because I saw my numbers like steady going down, and I'm like, this is weird. Because the other thing, Steve, the numbers are always like abnormally uniform, which is weird. Like it's like you can pick let's pick like Stavely, although his numbers have gone up lately, but then they like plateau out, or just pick anybody, dude. If you go onto their channel like at a certain time in their show, you can guarantee within like a certain percentage point how many viewers are going to be there. That seems unnatural to me.
Yeah. I'm sure they have some kind of AI or algorithm running all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
how would you know? I mean, they know who's going to be there, and they put a certain amount of numbers to keep those people interested and make it look like something's happening. But it's like everything in this world. There's always some BS behind it, or something behind it.
Yeah, man, it's completely wild.
Yeah.
But I would agree with you, dude. We've been on a strange journey. I don't know about you, Steve, but I've grown more in this year than probably in any year in my life, man, to be honest.
I'm with you, and that's kind of what what I was kind of bringing up. It's like it seems like so long ago, because if I look back at that stuff, it's like I'm in such a different place, and it's for the good, but the world around us is changing at that same pace that I'm changing too. So it's the dynamics of it is just crazy to me. We've been around a lot of the same places, since the beginning, and I mean, if you pay attention to everything that kind of happened and the way that my thought process is and what was important to me or what truth I was seeking or on this journey. It's like I literally had to like take a step back and and just say stop for a minute. It was like it was rolling too fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. By the way, listeners, so I just went into my YouTube to try to like pull something up, and it won't even let me access YouTube. And Snowfire said it won't let. So something's going on with YouTube right now. This is definitely a first. 100%. This is definitely a first. It lets me bring up El Piro though, but that's on StreamYard.
Yeah, that's the only reason I came up because I couldn't get on YouTube. I was just going to listen, and I went on StreamYard. I can get on that way. I was listening to
Oh
Monograph
wow.
last night.
So wait, hold on,
And
El Piro. So you were saying you tried to jump on YouTube to listen and it wouldn't let you? And not just my channel.
No.
Was that any channel?
I don't know. I just happened to. I just now got through and was.
Gotcha. Oh, we can't hear you, El Piro.
Yeah, I don't hear anything either.
Yeah. Let me see. We can't hear you, dude. Let me let him down. Sorry, Holmes. We'll just let you listen in the background. Steve, dude, it's been. Well, let me ask you, dude. I would agree that whatever's happening in this world is like, it's like speeding up. Everything's more intense, more dramatic. Everything's so strange. And for me, the distance between myself and others in my personal life has only grown. And that's one thing I'm actively trying to change about my personal life. I'm trying to make more real life connections with people like I used to have, man. And
yeah,
how's that going for you, dude? I mean, how's it in your
I
world?
can resonate a lot with what you're saying too because and I think that's part of why I kind of had to take a break too. Um, you start going so far in this journey. I mean, it can isolate you from everything, and that's not good either. And I've been listening to some of your stuff and some, the last week or a couple weeks too, and I've heard you mention that a couple times, and it really resonates with me too because we have to live in this world, and you know this journey you kind of go through that whole process of finding out and being angry and this and that, and then trying to convince everyone, and it's like no one can even hear you, and at the same time, you have to live here, and it's like forgive them for they know not what they do. Do they, if they truly don't know, and that is their reality and that is their belief system. I mean, does that make them a bad person, or what I mean? Are they wrong? I mean, it sure would seem that they are. Based on what we're thinking and the path we're on. But if that's truly where they're at, you have to have some kind of relationships in this world. I think. I think that's even part of their plan. If they can get us, that's exactly where they want us. They want us isolated from everyone.
Well, yeah, man. That's why I'm trying to actively work against that. Which
Right.
is here's the way I always look at it. It's like somebody has to take the higher road. Somebody has to break the cycle of dysfunction. So when I try to deal with people in real life, I just try to meet them at their level.
Right.
So, and I temper my expectations.
Right.
But that works with like friends and stuff. But where it really is quite hampering and a little bit like limiting is in, let's say, close relationships,
Yeah.
To try to find, let's say, a partnership or to experience like an intimate relationship
Sure.
and really connect with somebody. And that's kind
Yeah.
of like one of my big things now, man, is because I can entertain these surface level interactions with like a lady or two, but after a while, that's kind of like That's pretty shallow and empty.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean, I know there's lovely ladies here. Like we have Bex, but she's pretty much in California. Then we have Christy Lee Dolls, but she's already all the way down south. And we
Right.
have Heidi, but she's in Florida. And here's this one's in Florida. So it's like, you know, but in all seriousness, man, I agree with you. It's almost like that's the name of the game is like divide us up, but in a way where they do it through mental manipulation, where we're actually
Absolutely.
dividing ourselves up, man.
Absolutely. You know, there was a time too, you know, with this truth community where, you know, when they were pushing all of this stuff and the fear thing, which, that was the first thing that I broke and the first thing that I think everyone needs to get out of. But, um, when I was doing that and then saying, everything's crazy and you got to prep for this and do that, I went through that whole thing and then I had to take a step back and it's like, man, that's just all fear. Like, I mean, it's all right to be prepared for some things and all that, but deep down, they're actually doing to me exactly what they're doing to the other people. And I'm just thinking that I'm on some righteous path or that I'm seeing some truth, but, I'm living in their fear matrix. I got to get out of that. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with all the division. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, their worst nightmare would be us actually interacting with people and trying, and getting some message out and building a community and that's exactly what they don't want. And and I've learned that would probably be a tough thing to do in the beginning. I thought that would be something cool. I think we've talked about that even in the past, but that's going to be a hard road to do because even in this truth community, I mean, people are different and everyone's I kind of see some um, programming, for lack of a better word, of the truth community too that we don't see in ourselves
Oh,
sometimes.
100%, man. That's one of the things I noticed by having my show because I get a certain perspective, right? Because
Mm.
people come here and I get a broad scope of people who I get to interact with. And I agree with you. Well, kind of back to what you were saying, man, about how the fear thing. And I noticed that during my whole process over the years of being online is that the material and content that was pushed to me in the algorithm was all the fear stuff. I was talking about this the other day, man. It was like all about the numbers and it was about the pedophilia,
Yep.
elite rings and stuff. And everything was the world's going to end and comets and numbers and rapture. And then I realized at some point, okay, if this is what they're feeding me and recommending, well, what does that say? And then I kind of just said, all right, no, I need to just do my own thing.
Right.
And that's when I started to kind of like disconnect from like my homepage on YouTube and just really investigate the creators that I wanted.
Right.
And that's when I really got like, that's how I found like the flat earth community. Like that's how I stumbled into like what I feel is like valuable information or the things that I hold value. So it's
Right.
very crazy, the whole thing. All right, here's the thing, Steve. This kind of sucks because I don't even know if it's going to keep the show. So all the people who watch my show in replay, they're not even going to hear us right now, man. This kind of sucks right now. I'm kind of pissed. Dude, come back and talk to me another day. Let me just
Yeah,
kill this
I will
because
for sure. Because you know what, I did want to just pop on here, and actually I saw the numbers go on. I didn't have a camera, and I've been saying that, but you know, I took a little break from all of it too. But I'm ready to come back.
So did you, Steve? Did you
But in
like
family,
for
you know
how
what I mean?
long? Like I've seen you in the background. You've popped in and said hi a number of times in my comments. But are you saying you were kind of laying back for a while?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't joined any panels. I'll listen. I still listen to, I listen to you and listen to some of the people, but I don't catch it every night. There was a time there when this whole thing was addicting to me too. I mean, it's like, oh shoot, I can't miss what happens tomorrow after what happened today, and it's like it started taking over um, my
Yeah,
life,
man.
and that's exactly, even back to kind of doing what they're doing to whatever you want to call them, the NPCs or the normies and us, it's exactly the same thing. It's like shit, I lost my train of thought. That's what I'm doing.
Well, about bringing people in and addicting them to this fucking
Oh yeah,
medium, dude.
yeah. I mean, if you're addicted to this stuff, you're no better than, in a sense, than the normie who's watching the news because, you're living in their world on this internet and completely, not really being productive or if you're doing that, not working on yourself and you have to find that balance. Now, if someone like you who's doing content, it's a different, it's part of what you're doing.
It
But
is, but still, look, it's even the same for me though. Even as a content creator, I still have to refine my time on here because what it's done for me, Steve, is it makes the content that I choose to watch even that much more valuable to me and that much more precious.
right,
And I'm discriminating with it, man. And I pick and choose now. And I know what you mean about there is an aspect that brings you in, but I think for me, at least, it's leveling off because, like, especially this whole panel verse thing, this was a very new thing. This didn't start until the pandemic hit. Everybody got, StreamYard on their phone and Zoom. So this whole like Zoom StreamYard thing didn't really get into everybody's life full swing until 2021. So this is kind of a new technology for us all that I think we had to adjust to. And as far as the panel verse is concerned, I see it here. And exactly, and my longtime listeners know that I predicted this, exactly what I predicted is happening. I said that the panel verse would stratify and it would separate and the loops would start to break. And then each content creator would start to develop more of their own audience, that it would get more dilute, more creators would come. And that's exactly what's happening because there was a while where everybody was up each other's behinds and feeding off of each other in such a dysfunctional way. And I see that starting to break now. Do you see that same thing happening where it's starting to become maybe a little bit more normalized, a little bit more rational? Because it was kind of crazy there for a while, Steve, and you saw all that,
it
man.
was insanity. And you know what? And I look back, and I was right in that. And some of that was good because it made me grow as a person too. But I kind of realized like everything just can't be constant negativity. Like I said, it just goes back to all of those points that I just made. I think it's the, whatever you want to call whoever runs this realm or the controllers, whatever. It's their way of just playing us, playing the same hand on us in a different way. You know what I mean? And I think you have to break free of that and find the balance in it. It is really like everything else. You have to find that middle ground with everything.
Interesting.
And it's
Let me
easy to
ask you.
pendulum swing. You know what I mean?
I know. Let me ask you before we end it. Have you gone to like any meetups, and are you planning on doing so, or have you set that aside?
Well, I did set. I didn't do anything this year, so I did set it aside. I wouldn't rule it out totally. Um, I guess it just depends on what it is and where it's at. But I'll still say even with that, um, it was good times. It was nice to meet some people in this community rather than just see people in chat and all that. And for the most part, like-minded people. And I think it's good. Um, like you were saying, because you can get isolated and you do try to find balance and you spend some time, with regular people and your family and this kind of stuff. But, even though I've gotten past that and that's helped me a little bit too, there's still other times with those kind of people that, all of a sudden, once they get into politics or something like that, it's like, I just want to get up from the table. It's like, I don't want to participate. So, there still is that, when you can get around a group of people like that, you're free from, the stuff that you have to filter in your regular life for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Right. I know. It's so well, it's so interesting how these little subcultures develop in these times, and everybody's so different. So I'd imagine, Steve, when you sit down at, let's say, your Thanksgiving table, or like when I sit down, like with my family, there's so many different mindsets, different beliefs going on all at once. It almost boggles the mind.
Oh,
Like let's
for sure.
juxtapose, let's compare that to say like you're Greek, right?
Yeah.
Steve, you're
Yep.
okay. So let's imagine your family growing up, Steve. So you're maybe a little older than me, I
Yeah.
think.
52,
All
53,
right. All
or
right. So you're
50. No, 52.
53. Okay. So you could remember the 1970s. You were a young lad.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So imagine like the Steve dinner table at like your Greek Christmas or your Greek Easter, which is a different Easter. I know you guys celebrate Easter like a different
Yeah.
time than classic. So I'd imagine at like your Greek Easter holiday that there wasn't that much diversity. Like everybody probably like all believed in the same God. They probably had like either like they were either like Democrat or Republican as far as politics. They probably like either like so there was like a very limited type of like let's say diversity. Well, look, I'd imagine now if you sit down at like your current let's say holiday table, there's probably so much like a multiplicity of different thoughts, belief systems. You know, you have like the gay cousin over there with like her girlfriend, and then you have like Steve, the fucking like Mandela effect, like flat earthy guy, right? And then you have like this person. My point is, we live in a time where information is so accessible that it's led to this idea where everybody is so diversified, which in a way is great, but which in another way just furthers to divide people even more. Because how could you like you said, how could you relate with somebody who's talking to you about politics and how they're going to vote Democrat again because so what, Joe Biden's like senile, but it's you just have to keep Trump out. You know, like how could
Yeah.
you sit there and listen to that? But we have to. I think
After
that
they just
people
went on a
go ahead.
10-minute rant on how it was all fixed to begin with, and then they can't wait to go vote. You know what I mean? It's total craziness. And yeah, I can resonate with that. You know, I'm Greek, so I have a huge family, and you know, back then, you know, everyone just got together, and it was family, and everyone was pretty much on the same page. And I think there's something in that too, because you know, as they divide people, it's, you know, that's part of, you know, dividing families, you know, and they already got the community, and they pretty much got the family at this point. I know since 2020, I mean, you know, you talk about Greek Easter, that, you know, that was a huge thing for my family. Everyone got together, you know, food. Yeah, you're Italian, you understand that. I mean, eat and food and all of that stuff. Well, as soon as that hit, we didn't even get together for a couple of years. I mean, you know, that was
Right.
unheard of.
Same thing in my
Um,
family. Like every holiday was like sacred, but like you said,
yeah,
then all of a sudden the government tells you there's something to be scared of, and then it just stops, and everybody decides like we're not family anymore. Like it's crazy, dude.
yeah. I mean, it's all part of the engineering. You know what I mean? Um,
And people go along with it. What type of food did you have there? You know what? The classic Greek is spanakopita.
oh, I
My
love, yeah,
friend's grandma, his yiya. That's
yeah,
grandma in
yeah,
Greek,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. His yaya would make the spanakopita. I would go nuts for it, man.
Oh, yeah.
For people who
Eh,
don't know, it's like a spinach and cheese with like a thin
a
kind of like pastry
phyllo dough,
crust, right?
phyllo dough. Did you hear that? Phyllo dough.
What is that?
It's it's dough that you buy, and it's when it's separated by like wax paper because it's so thin. So
Yeah,
when
that's right.
you pull it apart, you know, you have to, you know, um, handle it real lightly or it'll rip, and then they put the spinach in between and layer it, and that's why it gets those fluffy, um, you know, layers of the crispy dough. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with the dessert, like baklava. I don't know if you ever had that.
Yeah, which is might be my favorite dessert ever, man.
Oh my God, you gotta try my mom's. It's the best ever.
I could imagine.
I'll mail you a batch one sometime. Yeah,
You
so
should. Well,
same
Steve,
type
who
thing.
know? I might be taking a trip across America. So if I do like the Z across America trip, I'll hit you up because
For sure,
like I know we have each other's contact because I'm
for
thinking
sure.
about doing like a head down to Florida, and and then what I'll do is I'll do segments on the way. see, like meet up with like a Stavely, and then head up and see like a Lucky and all these other people along the way. And it'd be like a Z Does America thing. I have this whole thing planned. And I don't want to give it away, but Rose 777. I don't know if I should. I'll just say this here. I'll drop a little precursor. Rose and I are talking about potentially planning like a conference. Now, very likely it'll just be Rose planning it, and I'll just come in to be like MC, and I'll just let her like do all the work and make all the profits. But either way, there might be a Rose 777 Palooza coming to a city near you, everybody. So look for that, and yours truly will be very involved. And look, my listeners are saying, come to Florida, Z. Yeah, don't judge me.
Yeah, I'm in for that. Like I said, I'm still up for all that stuff. I think there is a lot of good to it. You know what I mean? You know, it's I don't put it. I don't think it's a bad thing. When I was talking earlier, I think like as far as community and all that, that would be tough with anything. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
think
it
I
gets
realized
crazy.
that.
I
You know what
like
I mean?
Steve, like you see this chick here, this mindful exposure chick. Her name's Sarah.
Mm.
She was like trying to start like a commune in like Central South America with like a bunch of internet people. Sarah, I could have told you even like how to Steve and I'll tell you now that was a crazy idea. It was never gonna work. But yeah, so she like tried that, dude. She was trying to like do this whole commune thing with like her friends from online. And you're right, Steve. That's not going to translate well into real life. It would just turn into a complete shit show in so many ways.
Oh, for sure. And I've realized that, that's part of my growth here too. I mean, you know, even though we may, a lot of us may think the same or have some of the same belief systems or be looking into this stuff, we're still all different. You know what I mean? And, it's one thing, particularly just, online, I mean, but, just, try living with someone through your life or any that, that's not family or even family, for that matter, it's that's difficult. So, at one time it seemed like this utopia that can get all these truthers together and have a community. We can live off the land, and you know, it sounds great, but I've learned that I think that would be a very difficult thing. You know what I mean? No one knows each other enough or long enough to be able to live with each other like that.
Yeah, man, it's wild. Like you said, it's hard enough to get along with people whose family, and you're almost like in your mind you're almost forced to live with family in a sense. Like you can justify it in your mind. You're like, okay, it's my brother, it's my sister. It's hard enough.
It is very hard, and you know what? Just to give you a different perspective too, because I understand totally what you're saying, and I go through the same thing with my family. But I've told you this before, but in my immediate family, as far as like my wife and children, I'm very fortunate because they're on board with me now. Not to the level that I'm into this stuff, and they don't go as crazy, but they totally for the most part, listen to what I have to say and have an open mind to it and resonate with most of it. You know what I mean? So, that makes it a lot easier for me, at least to have those people around me and live with them. But, if I didn't have them, I feel I would be almost totally isolated from family. You know what I mean?
Right
They
on,
just
man.
happened to be there while I was on my journey and you know, and went with me, for the most part. So,
Well, the nice part is it sounds
it
like
can
they at
be done.
least
You know what I mean?
well, it sounds like they at least respect you and accept you for who you are,
Right.
which is maybe the most we can ask from anybody is that they
Well,
say, okay,
yeah, but
and
because
they
that's what's
value
gonna
you.
that's what's gonna lead them to actually, if you're planting the seeds and that's what I'm doing, and they do value, I believe that's what is going to um, make them look into that stuff. And I can say, it's funny when I say they resonate with me. My daughter just had to take a flight, and she's sending me pictures from the airplane. It's flat as hell up there. I mean, so they're on board with most of it too. And you know my Mandela effect story and all that. I mean, they believe all that stuff. It's just
Right.
I'm a little more into the looking into it and a little deeper into it. They're still living their lives. I would say more in the normal world than I am,
Right.
but they see all that stuff. They didn't play the whole 2020 game. I mean, um, and they tell their friends that stuff too. So I see that. Like I said, by just planting them seeds and earning their respect and trust. They went along with it, and I don't know who mentioned it, but I heard recently too. It's crazy, or maybe it's just a general quote, but you know you can know someone your whole life who's been there for you, trust. I mean, who's been tested, um, and when that person comes to you, they're still going to listen to that guy on the TV that's wearing a jacket over someone who they've known and trusted and tested through their life. They're going to trust that person who they have nothing, know nothing about. You know what I mean? So the mind control or the programming is really crazy.
I
To
know
me.
it's wild. It's like with me, Steve. To your point, people say to me like, and not not directly, but in so many words, man, like you're such like a bright guy, and you seem intelligent. It's almost like they're saying to me, "What happened to you?" Right? And it's like,
Oh yeah.
so that's like it's like you believed me for so many things. Like when I was Dr. John, and I still tell people I'm still Dr. John. They didn't come and take my diploma away, everybody. But when I was like being Dr. John and stuff, and you were listening to me about my recommendations, people were paying me for diagnoses and recommendations and stuff, like to the point where let's say I was valued monetarily for my knowledge base.
Right.
But yet when I started, speaking about the things that I was really interested in and the things that I'm passionate about in life, then all of a sudden I'm like kooky or something. Like I lost my mind in their
Oh yeah.
world. It's like
Yeah.
no, it's still the same guy. I'm just saying things that are unfamiliar to you and you don't know how to take it,
Yep. And some of those people have been in your life, your whole life. Like I said, they've been tested. They've been there. They have been, everything they have said for the most part has had value, or what I mean. Um, and you're just going to blow that person off, what I mean, and listen to this, you know, to whoever the news or whatever, whoever the hell it is. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's all part of the programming. Um, like I said, I think really just the key is trying to find balance in all of it because, um, like you said, I mean, just go back a year and a half, and just think of how wild of a ride um, it's been, at least for me, and I know you've been in a lot of the same places and all that, and um,
Yeah, man.
it's nuts, man. When I think about it, it's like wow. But there was good to that too because it's helped me grow and you know um, like
It's a
anything else.
growth process. Steve, do you remember when I came out with my first videos and I was playing a character named Jim
Yep.
Bob?
Yep.
Let me pull it up. Let me play it for the people that are here. It looks like YouTube's kind of coming back. Put a one in the chat if you guys want to see my very first video when I was playing a character named Jim Bob. Because you know what it was, Steve? In my mind, I said, okay, I want to go online and I want to talk about some of the stuff that I'm into, but I don't know how to do it. Right. So like in my head, I'm like, how do I come on? Do I just come on as like John, like myself, and come on and do it? I said, no, here's what I'll do. I'll make up a character who's basically a dumb fucking redneck, and I'll call him Jim Bob. And then I'll just be this goofy character named Jim Bob, and I'll do a show. I always wanted to do a show, but it was going to be the Jim Bob show.
Yeah, I remember it, and honestly, I'll say it now too. I didn't like that. I wasn't going to say that to you at the time, but you only did that for a short time.
I did 2 videos. It was completely
Was it only
stupid,
2?
man. I
Yeah.
did 2. Well, I did 3, but
I was kind
YouTube.
of surprised by that's where you were going with it, but I'm like, okay, let's see where it goes. You're a pretty sharp guy. Let's see what you do with it. But
I didn't know what else to do, Steve, and I was nervous. So I said, let me just come on as a character. Wait, hold on, guys. Let me bring it up. Look, it's so stupid looking at it now, Steve. Oh my God. Hold on.
yeah.
All right, hold on. Let's hold on. This is from over a year ago. Hold on. We're having fun now. YouTube seems like it's coming back.
I wish I had a camera. It's you know what? It's hard for me to talk without looking at it. I need that visual. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, speaking about visual, there's Jim Bob, everybody. So Steve, what are you eating? It sounds like animal crackers or something. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm eating sunflower seeds. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it rattling.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I just put on a goofy, like a duck hunting hat that has an American flag on it, and they just hung a American flag that I had out in my shed behind me, and I put on a plaid shirt, and I said, "Okay, I'm going to be Jim Bob." Here we go. Holy shit! This was the first Jim Bob show. Everybody, let's see how
it
it
still
went.
on your site? Is it still on your page?
It's still there, man.
Okay.
Hold on.
I probably commented on it.
Oh yeah, you were there for it. This on? Good morning, America. How are you? Welcome back to another episode of the Jim Bob the Truther Show. And I'm your host, Jim Bob the Truther. Welcome. Welcome back. I'd like to start off today's show with a prayer. A prayer to the one God, the Almighty God, the God of Israel, who I love so much. I love you, God of Israel. I love you. Dear Israeli Jewish God in heaven, dear Israeli Jewish God in heaven, I love you so much. I want to thank you for giving us another day in this beautiful, glorious, spinning third rock from the sun, perfectly spherical planet Earth that you've given us. I want to thank you for allowing us another day. Allowing us another day here on your beautiful planet that you created in this infinite universe with millions and millions of galaxies. And you're a wonderful God. You're amazing, and I love you, even though you're distant, obviously. But I love you anyway because you created this wonderful place. I love you so much. I love your vengeance and mercifulness, of course. I love it. I love it. You're amazing with both of those. You are merciful. You are a merciful, merciful God. You are the one true, only God, the true God, the Almighty God, the Most High. Certainly not just, one of amongst many gods who potentially fell here, who potentially fell, You were not amongst at all, of course, you were not amongst those rebellious angels. You were not counted amongst those rebellious angels that were cast down here. No, they were the ones. You were the real God, and they were fucking you over. And you used your mercy. You used your mercy to cast all them angels out of your glory and your wonderful glory and love. You used your mercy to cast those angels out and down here to this wonderful place that you made, this planet Earth. Thank you for that, God. Thank you for casting out those angels and sending them here. Thank you. And you certainly were not amongst one of them. You're just the Most High, and I love that.
I'm glad you only did 2.
I love your mercy. I love your mercy so much, Lord.
Yeah, man.
Lord God of Israel, Hashem, whose name cannot be uttered. Lord God of Israel.
There was a third one. They deleted it because I went after Biden.
Who needs vowels? Who needs vowels when you're that fucking awesome and you're just the greatest God ever? You don't need vowels. You don't need vowels. You just need a couple 4 letters. 4 letters. Tetragrammaton. Fuck vowels. Who needs vowels anyway? You know, who needs a name? Hashem, I love you. Listen, your mercy, Hashem, God of Israel, your abounding mercy. When you've shown your mercy throughout the ages. You've shown your incredible mercy. When you showed your incredible, it's funny because Steve, people say to me like, "Oh, Z, like you've changed." I'm like, "Yeah, my first video, I was being goofy, talking about flat Earth, ripping on the God of Israel." Like it's and being silly. Nothing's changed, man. This is
Nope. Everything changes and stays the same. It's great. Yeah. How long ago was that?
Oh, this is over a year ago, man. This is like a year and a half ago at this point.
Okay. Yeah.
Incredible mercy to Adam and Eve, you know, who you created in your image, when you showed your mercy to your beautiful creation, when you showed your mercy to your beautiful innocent creation, when you cast them out and you abandoned them out of your beautiful glory, when you showed your mercy and did that, I love you for that, God Hashem. I love you, Jewish God. It's funny, Steve, because you can see me trying to get out like all the truthiness that was in my mind at that point. Like, okay, I'm like, what do I want to tell people? All right, I want to tell them that like it's weird that some weird redneck that exists in like middle America for some reason it's like supports the Zionist Israel. Like, so I'm like, this is how my mind's working. I'm like, how do I lampoon that? Okay. Like, it's so stupid that like some dumb redneck who's Christian thinks that like equals like, you know, the God of Israel. And somehow that makes sense. I don't know, man. The whole thing's crazy.
Yep.
Oh, man. All right. Much love, Steve. I'm going to wrap it. YouTube's all whack. So
Yeah,
we'll do our thing.
I'll get on with you in the next couple of weeks. Like I said, I just wanted to pop on here. I wasn't prepared or anything like that, but yeah, we'll bullshit or we'll chat soon.
Cool, man. Much love.
All
It's
right.
good talking to you, man.
All right, keep doing your thing.
Thanks, man. Cleveland Steve, everybody. Who, guess what? Was the first Z supporter. You might even say Cleveland Steve was like the first person to, I don't know. I think I should have brought it up with him when he was here, but Steve's the one who like got me to start making videos and stuff. I was just like a caller into shows. Weird. All right, everybody, let's wrap it. Hopefully YouTube is not just, I don't know. Hopefully there's no like YouTube apocalypse and didn't like unsub everybody from other favorite channels. All right, we'll do it again tomorrow if the fates are willing. Thank you as always, beautiful people. You'll find me here tomorrow, same Z time, same Z channel. Peace.